Set that can get you out of deflation is an order of magnitude more difficult.
That's a new Dharma talk.
Sorry about that.
It snowed today. Got up, it's like, oh my God, snowed. Okay, that's Chicago for you. I hope those buds are strong, those blossoms, those daffodils that have bloomed. They are, right? I think so. Those just bloom, but they're strong. They'll make it through this cold. I've been humming and saying to myself, singing to myself, or chanting to myself the new version of anybody else? Gatte, gatte, para samgat. Nodi svaha gatte, gatte, para samgate, nodi svaha gatte, gatte. Paragate parasamgate bodhisvaha. That's been nice to just have that going in my mind all the time. Right? That mantra. Remember, mantras are magical incantations. And I've been feeling really good. I don't know if it's the mantra, the sitting, or what, or all together, but I have been feeling good. A little tired, but that's all right. It's our fifth day of Sesshin. And the first day of Sesshin, I was on my back, sleeping, tired. I could not do anything. So I missed a whole day. I'm one day behind everybody else in terms of samadhi building. But I can feel it. I can feel it. So I'm continuing with Ed Brown's tidbits from Ed Brown's book, No Recipe. I'm really loving it. Already, I don't know if I mentioned this in the last talk, but already I've had ideas for how to do the study group. Include food, of course, right? And I was even talking to An. I said, An, do you know how to cook any Vietnamese food? He goes, yeah, I know how to make spring rolls. I said, spring rolls. All right, then, can you show us how to do that at our first meeting, or we'll check with Sky, and if that's good. He said, sure, I'll check my schedule. We're gonna make vegetarian spring rolls, and he's got this killer sauce. Ooh. So I was like, okay, fabulous, great. I was also appreciating Roshi's talk both on Tuesday and yesterday. It was great. I love when he does the big mind. Isn't that exciting when he does that? Because it's so experiential. It's embodied. I am the way-seeking mind. What does that feel like? I love it when we do that. I am the way-seeking mind, not just thinking about it, but what does that feel like? I am the way. Big mind, getting a big mind. I love that spaciousness. And then putting it together, I'm the apex. That's interesting, right? I think it's really a skillful upaya that Genpo Roshi put together, really skillful. And then yesterday's talk about the five skandhas, right? How all these different consciousnesses, right? But yet you can see how really it's empty, right? It's just, so gives also a little bit more space. And then talking about, which I have to relook at the mana consciousness level, that's the 7th level. And then there's the alaya consciousness, which is the where the seeds germinate, or you plant them in that alaya consciousness, right? And in Hawaiian medicine, actually, there is an alaya salt. If you've been eating the gomashio, it is made with alaya salt, but it's a different spelling, A-L-A-E-A instead of A-L-A-Y-A. And the alaya is a red clay from the earth. It has medicinal properties, of course, like it's good for cancer and all of that, for cleansing, helping to cleanse the body. And of course, sea salt, also a cleanser, purification from the ocean. So together, that was roasted by our Tenzo with the sesame seeds to a beautiful brownness and ground up. And I was so enjoying it this morning on my brown rice, and just feeling that energy of the earth and the sea come together with the rice. It was very beautiful to eat. I was like, yes. So in Ed Brown's book, he has a beautiful section called "The Black Dragon Jewel is Everywhere." Ooh, doesn't that sound enticing? The black dragon jewel is everywhere. And he has a poem by Judo, who was a Zen master, Chinese Zen master, who actually during the, he was born in 1105, Chinese Zen master. And he was of the Kaodong, which became the Soto school in Japan. And he collected and compiled 100 koans in the Blue Cliff Records, and 82 of which are from the Jingde record of the transmission of the lamp, which are stories about enlightenment experiences of these different Zen masters from Shakyamuni down, up, whatever it is, the lineage. So this is the poem. The black dragon jewel, through one word or 7 words or 3 times 5, even if you thoroughly investigate myriad forms, nothing can be depended upon. Night advances, the moon glows and falls into the ocean. The black dragon jewel you have been searching for is everywhere. What is this black dragon jewel? What do you think? Let's try to see black dragon. I mean, I haven't heard of black dragons actually, but they are kind of black if you look at the Game of Thrones. The black dragon jewel. And dragons, they're always looking for jewels, right? And they find it and then they keep it forever. They hoard it forever. Dragon and jewels. Those are stories about, Buddhist stories about dragons and jewels. So that's interesting. Jewels are the three jewels, right? The three jewels. Dragon. In Hawaiian mythology, dragons always symbolize some kind of huge challenge, some kind of big obstacle to overcome. Black dragon jewel. And this black dragon jewel is everywhere. That's the other thing about this black dragon jewel. It's everywhere. What is it? What is it? Any thoughts? Yes, Ken.
Well, in Western mythology, the dragon hoards precious cargo that's rare. And the two that come to mind are jewels or riches and princesses, particularly virgin princesses. But dragons collect them, but can't use them. They hoard them, but don't use them, which speaks to us that we try to grab things. So to me, a black dragon jewel that's everywhere is the riches are everywhere. We just need to know where to look or to know to find it.
So what could that one of the riches be? You know, bringing it down to our everyday life. And that's what that's what is important to me, how to live these teachings. What? Yes.
Someone told me recently that maybe myth dragons were like memories of dinosaurs, from like the stories of them of dinosaurs passed on through the humans in the beginning human time. And I thought that was a super interesting idea. You mentioned magical incantation.
The mantra.
Mantra in the beginning of your talk there, speaking to the ancestors, or them that, all the things that come down past from the ancestors.
Okay, and what are one of those things? What are one of those things? Any guesses? Come on now, just guess something. It's okay if you're wrong. What? Mindfulness. Okay. Okay, that's one guess. Could be. I mean, I have a guess myself too, and Ed Brown had a guess too, what it was. Anybody else have a guess? Yes.
It would be happiness or enlightenment.
Happiness
the
or
Tao.
enlightenment. Yeah, it could that be too, right? The black dragon jewel you have been searching for is everywhere, right? If you're searching for happiness, it's actually everywhere if you really look. Or it could be love, right? If you're searching for love, if you really look, and I feel like during Sesshin I can slow down and really look, actually. And I can see it everywhere. Love, for sure, I can see that everywhere. And especially since I've been kind of in my head, just chanting, not thinking about anything in particular, except this mantra has been going through my head. I kind of see things differently. One way, because service, I used to be very particular about services. You have to do a certain way, right? Because you're learning, and I don't know, something has changed. For this time I've been doing services, I've just been kind of getting into the flow. I don't know if it's the new way we're chanting the Heart Sutra, but it's really beautiful the way we're chanting the Heart Sutra, that it kind of takes me out of the way I've been being when we do service, kind of a routine. It's a habitual way. Nothing new is coming up, except noticing mistakes. I noticed one, but that's it. But I don't cling to it. It's just okay. Because I remember saying, great service. Linda goes, really? I made 2 mistakes. I'm like, I didn't even notice what they were. She said. So I don't know. All I can say is how I've been feeling lately. I've been really happy, actually. And I'm not totally sure why, but I think it's because love is all around. Love is all around. The other thing, is really understanding about death a little bit more anyway. On Wednesday at our, I didn't join you for lunch because I went out to lunch. A friend of ours, actually my Reiki master, Rose Maddox, invited me and Donna Mindrum to lunch. And Donna just lost her 26-year-old son about a month ago. Unexpected, as death is a lot of times, even though we know it's going to happen for somebody that young, 26, it's just, and she has been, of course, having a difficult time with it. And so we've been texting, and Rose said, what, would a lunch feel good? And she said, yeah. So she picked me up, and Rose had prepared a beautiful vegetarian meal. She had made a chickpea rotini piccata. It was so fancy, just like a chicken piccata, but using it was so delicious, made with loving care. She had her aunt's, beautiful china out with a tureen, where she said it's good to use this every now and then, and a salad and two little biscuits and a nice paleo dessert, because she has some health issues as well. She has to watch her food. And so I rode with Donna a little while and asked her how she was feeling. And I could tell from her face, that she had been suffering a lot about this passing. And when we got to Rose's house, when we were all sat at the table and started eating, Rose asked her, she's a Reiki practitioner. Also, she's retired now, unfortunately, but she also was a counselor, and she has a deep Catholic faith. And I want to just describe this room. Has a round table in like a dining room, living room, and it was very sunny that day, and she had windows, and on the wall, her mother used to be a medical doctor and an artist, and created this triptych of, I don't know, 100, 6 by 3 inch Madonnas that she painted, and she was self-taught. All these different Madonna images, in a triptych, it was just really beautiful that she painted, kind of modern day Madonnas, not in the old style. So here we were in the living room with the Madonnas, which was fabulous. And as soon as we took it was delicious. The first bite, after the first bite, Rose started asking Donna, well, how are you? How's it been going? And Donna started talking, and I thought, oh my, I would probably enjoy the food first and talk later, but it wasn't about me. It was about Donna. And so Donna just started talking, and Rose kept asking questions. And these were like difficult emotions, right? But we were all eating regularly. And at the end of about maybe half hour, it took us to eat that slowly and talk, Donna said, this has been really helpful. So I was basically bearing witness, just listening, although just listening is not just listening, right? It is a gift to be able to listen to someone speaking without judgment, without interruptions, just listening. So that was, and I was glad that I had this container of sesshin to be there so that I could truly just listen. I don't think that our society really knows how to deal with death or grief, really. And Donna was saying, yeah, it's really amazing. Some people totally don't even ask her how she's feeling. Her acquaintances, like when she goes over to see them. But I don't think that's uncommon. I think that we are afraid of death and grief, actually. And so what we're afraid of, we like to keep at arm's length. And Ed Brown had a beautiful quote of Rumi in his book. Your loving doesn't know its majesty until it knows its helplessness. Your loving doesn't know its majesty until it knows its helplessness. The black dragon jewel again, through one word or 7 words or 3 times 5, even if you thoroughly investigate myriad forms, nothing can be depended upon. Night advances, the moon glows and falls into the ocean. The black dragon jewel you have been searching for is everywhere. A wall full of Madonnas. And Zen Master Dogen says, do not wait for great enlightenment, as great enlightenment is the tea and rice of daily activity. Do not wish for beyond enlightenment, as beyond enlightenment is a jewel concealed in your hair. Is that beautiful? Do not wait for great enlightenment, as great enlightenment is the tea and rice of daily activity. Do not wish for beyond enlightenment, as beyond enlightenment is a jewel concealed in your hair. Beyond enlightenment is right here in my bird's nest hair now. All right, so he has a great chapter said, is there anything good about working in the kitchen? I see Linda already. All right, so even Zen Master Dogen, when he first went, on this big pilgrimage on the boat that was like, rough seas from Japan to China, he had his doubts about the value of working in a kitchen. He was trying to clarify the great matter of life and death. I know Ken is yawning at this point, the great matter of life and death. And he was asking this question, if we have spiritual nature, why do we need to practice manifesting it? Well, it's hidden, it's hidden. But anyway, that was his question. And then when he got to China, he did meet his teacher, Ru Jing, and he helped to affirm Dogen's practice. It was practice realization. That was Dogen's enlightenment, practice realization. Also, while he was in China, he met two tenzos, what he calls cook monks, that made an impression on him. One meeting, well, he was still on the boat because there was, they weren't admitting him right away. There took some time there. He made an acquaintance of a cook monk who had walked maybe 10 miles to purchase dried mushrooms for a ceremony at their monastery. And Dogen felt this strong, vibrant connection with this cook monk and invited him to share a meal with him. But the cook monk refused. He said he needed to attend to his responsibilities. Dogen did not understand how he could be so committed to the work of the kitchen. So he goes, I again asked the cook monk, Honorable Tenzo, why don't you concentrate on Zazen meditation practice and on the study of the ancient master's words, rather than troubling yourself by holding the position of Tenzo and just working? Is there anything good about it? The Tenzo laughed a lot and replied, Good man from a foreign country, you do not yet understand practice or know the meaning of the words of ancient masters. Hearing him respond this way, I, Dogen, suddenly felt ashamed and surprised. So I asked him, what are words? What is practice? The Tenzo said, if you penetrate this question, how can you fail to become a person of understanding? If you penetrate this question, how can you fail to become a person of understanding? So yes, asking good questions is really important, right? And then penetrating the question. And sometimes the last sentence is translated like this. If you hold this question close to your heart, you cannot fail to become a person of understanding. If you hold any question, any deep question close to your heart, you cannot fail to become a person of understanding. Isn't it exciting? Ken is like, I guess so, maybe. So Ed Brown continues here. Zen Master Dogen asks the questions that we continue to ask ourselves about kitchen work. Is there anything good about it? Linda already said no. All right. All right. He say, is there anything good about it? Don't we have more important things to do? Doing important work that benefits others, or simply earning a living, or perhaps attaining fame and fortune, possibly even as a spiritual person meditating and studying, or enjoying ourselves, perhaps skiing, hang gliding, or rock climbing. To understand the question to this inquiry, the Cook monk attests that we all need to keep the question close to our heart and see what we can find out. Right? You gotta find out the answer yourself. That's why it's no recipe. Name of the book, no recipe. You have to find out yourself. You might have an answer, but don't get stuck on it. Really find out for yourself. He says, we'll need to sacrifice some of the other possibilities, show up in the kitchen, and do something with our blood, sweat, and tears. Right? Do something with devotion. Not just, service at the altar, but devotion to cooking, like I have seen our Tenzo do. Ed continues, in our world, devotion to a noble cause is exalted, while devotion to working in the kitchen is seen as somehow misguided. It certainly doesn't pay well. And now he says, 88 billionaires have as much wealth as the rest of the population. They are clearly devoted to what we might wonder, aside from making more money. So continuing Dogen's story, we find in the Tenzo Kyokan, his instructions to the cook, he's got a wonderful fascicle on that he has the good fortune to meet that same cook monk again. Here is Dogen's account. I was moved with joy. I served him tea and we talked. When I referred to the discussion of words and practice which had taken place on the ship, the cook monk said, to study words, you must know the origin of words. To endeavor in practice, you must know the origin of practice. I asked, what are words? The Tenzo said, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I asked again, what is practice? Nothing in the entire universe is hidden. Nothing in the entire universe is hidden. Dogen continues, we talked about many other things which I will not introduce now. If I know a little about words or understand practice, it is because of the great help of the Tenzo. I told my late master Myosen about this in detail, and he was extremely pleased. Or as Suzuki Roshi says, what is extraordinary is to settle down in the ordinary and bring it alive. what is extraordinary is to settle down in the ordinary and bring it alive. The black dragon jewel. Through one word or 7 words or 3 times 5, even if you thoroughly investigate myriad forms, nothing can be depended upon. Night advances, the moon glows and falls into the ocean. The black dragon jewel you have been searching for is everywhere. And Zen Master Deshan, another Zen master, said, realizing the mystery is nothing but breaking through to grasp an ordinary person's life. Realizing the mystery is nothing but breaking through to grasp an ordinary person's life. Everyday life. Everyday Zen. That's where it's at. Really? Yes, Ken.
I'd like to change my answer,
Okay.
despite the yawns, which is day 5 of Sesshin yawn and not the subject matter. It seems like the black dragon jewel is taking the everyday, taking the ordinary, breathing life into it to make it extraordinary. And that's all around us. We just have to infuse it with that light.
Well, and it could also be that it is extraordinary, we just have to see it. And we have to devote ourselves to it, to each moment. It's really kind of making something sacred in a way when you devote your attention, your time to something, right? Isn't it a way of making something sacred? I can stop right here for any more thoughts or questions about what I talked about so far.
Dragon jewel.
What is the black dragon jewel?
Interview or
Ed Brown said it was love, and I mean, I agree with that. It is a jewel that pervades everything, everywhere. We just have to see it. And that's the concept of, aloha, also Hawaiian cultural value, spiritual value. Yeah, we just have to see it. And so if something is love and you devote yourself to it, what could happen?
I appreciated your love story with brown rice this morning.
Maybe we should pass around the thing because people can't hear. I'm sorry, I know we don't, but we might as well because Ungo and Kanchan can't hear, and I can't remember everything you said to repeat it, so. Yes, a white button at the bottom there. There it is, yes.
Yeah, so I was saying that I appreciated your love story with your brown rice this morning when you were eating, and I actually caught a glimpse of that. And you were like, oh. like you just fell into it. And I felt a little, I felt like it was an affirmation for me to see that and then hear that this morning, because Tenzo gave me like a love lesson in cleaning the rice when I was in the kitchen. And I mean, I've heard of cleaning the rice and I've kind of seen it, but I've never cleaned rice. And I had this big pot of rice and, you know, having my hands in the rice and then watching just the water, the color of the water change. And then I was, you know, I was really kind of into that water, even though it was brown and, you know, I didn't really want it on the rice. I was glad that it was leaving the rice, but I was kind of also like, what are those little things in there? You know, are those little sentient, you know, like what's in there? I was really paying attention to the rice. And then I think I washed it like 3 or 4 times. And then Tenzo said, okay, let's check it and make sure that it's clean. Like just this real, like the devotion, the thoroughness. And then when I had to tip it over and, you know, there was no strainer, like this was the strainer.
Your hand.
I was like realizing all these little pieces of rice were escaping. And I was almost like in this weird kind of thing, like, oh no, you know, like I'm losing them. They're going down the drain. You know, they were just like, and I was like, I didn't know, I just couldn't. And, you know, I just kind of stepped back at the sink and you know, that was a thing. You know, the black dragon jewel, that was a, like I have a relationship with rice now. You know, and that's important, you know, because I paid attention differently when I was eating my rice this morning. Each little rice, you know, had its own purpose in like nutrition this morning, each little one. And that would have been really beyond my attention before. So it was really special, yeah.
Thank you. The other thing that Dogen says is no matter what the quality is of the ingredients that you have, you treat each one still with devotion. There's like no good or bad. You know, it's no complaining. It's just devoting yourself to the preparation. So, you know, that's kind of like our life now, right? In Sesshin, whatever we're doing in relation to others, right? We're all ingredients here, right? And some of us are, you know, well, we're all different. And so letting go of fixed ideas about how something should be, that's such a great practice actually, because it gives space to people. It gives a lot of space to people to learn on their own, to use their own wisdom. No recipe. Feeling your way in the dark. And that's okay, that's a great thing. Any other thoughts or comments you want to share? Ken.
I wanted to share my growing love affair with Samu. You talked about cleaning as well as cooking in your last talk, and I've realized that Samu for me has shifted from what do I have to do, from what do I have to do to what do I get to do. And the Swiffer in particular, okay, because to me, after going across the floor, I think everybody does, we look at the bottom of the Swiffer and we go, what did I do? Look, the negative, the dirt is now on this, I did this. And there's this sense of accomplishment on something that's so simple But I find the same thing with cooking, which is why last night you had to throw me out of the kitchen, say it's my turn to do dishes, and I was kind of disappointed. But it's a shift in mindset to I get to do this, and I love that.
Okay, anything more? Blair?
Through one word, or 7 or 3x5.
Black Dragon Jewel. Through one word or 7 words or 3 times 5, even if you thoroughly investigate myriad forms, nothing can be depended upon. Night advances, the moon glows and falls into the ocean. The black dragon jewel you have been searching for is everywhere. Judo, or Secho is the Japanese name, Secho. Judo, X-Y-U-E-D-O-U. A Chinese Zen master. Well, maybe that's it for today then, unless anybody has any last words they want to share.
The other thing I wanted to ask you about is you said you've been humming or hearing a mantra. And how did you learn that? You said it's a new version of
The
something?
Heart Sutra, what we've been chanting in the morning,
Right.
the very last 3 lines, we chant it 3 times, which, is fabulous. In the Korean version that we're chanting, right? Gate, gate, para, gate, para sam gate. How did I learn that? Yeah, we're chanting the new version right now in the mornings, the very first sutra that we chant, yeah? That beautiful, and these are the last 3 lines.
And you learned this tune or this
From
it's just
it's the new tune. It's the new tune that we've been listening to, because it's different how we usually chant it, which I think is really great, because you kind of get used to, your brain gets kind of used to something and nothing new seems to break through, but this is really different, and so the brain is somehow jumbled a little bit and a little open to something new. And so what it means, literally it means gone, gone, gone beyond, gone utterly beyond, or beyond, enlightenment, or hallelujah, or amen. Right? So thinking that enlightenment is beyond, right? I mean, you could, but really, it's also saying enlightenment is here to me. Enlightenment is not an impossible thing, to see reality as it is. That is enlightenment, because for the most part, I think we are living in a trance with entrenched, fixed ideas about life, about ourselves, that really have no truth in the matter. Right? Yeah. So it's really important. That first practice of not knowing is so important to practice, really. You think you know somebody? Think again. Look again. You think you know yourself? Well, that's the big one, right? Knowing yourself. And I want to end with this quote by Suzuki Roshi. There is no need for you to be a great person. In your limited activity, you should find out the true meaning of yourself. If you pick up a small stone, you have the whole universe. If you pick up a small stone, you have the whole universe. So, we think we're going to be so, I don't know. I mean, it's not bad to have aspirations to be great. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. But really, the important thing is finding out, who are you? Should we try to get $1 billion too?
Just no grasping.
No grasping. Right. Right. So, all right then. Thank you. Prepare for lunch. I'm sorry we're missing you, Ungo, and I hope you feel better soon.